Yeah. All right. Yo, what's up? Splendid Radio on PharcydeTV with my co-host Jeremy Scipio.
Going on, people?
You know what I'm saying? We got him back in the we're graced with his presence, you understand me? He's out there.
Hey, when they can't afford me, I'm here. The clubs can't afford me.
Yeah, and then man, we had this guy, man. He's a real cool guy. He was referred to me by a fellow gatekeeper. You know what I'm saying? I give Nancy her props. You know what I'm saying? She's always hooking me up with somebody interesting. And it was a trip because when I spoke to Victor, we probably talked for about 45 minutes, almost an hour, and it was like, man, and it was. I'd say like 15% about the podcast, and then the rest about just life and just passion, being dedicated to something, you know, staying dedicated, growth, and all that kind of stuff. So it's been a while since I've just I really didn't know anybody. But then once again, you know, Nancy's cool people. She shot me to him, and then it's kind of like, okay, when you got a cool person shooting you somebody, and then it works out cool, then it all makes sense. So with that being said, we've got Victor. He's the founder of Underground Hip Hop Blog, and he's an interesting guy, and he has some interesting stuff going on. So I kind of prepped him on Splendid. You know, myself, I come from a pretty much straightforward hip hop aspect. Jeremy, you know, he comes with the comedic stuff, and also he has a newer school than my school of hip hop. Like Jeremy kind of knows, he's more he understands the old school, but I would say he's probably more forgiving to the new school a little bit.
That's funny.
And yeah, and Nas is his favorite artist, like really his favorite artist. You know what I'm saying? So that's
who's that? I don't know who
that is. Yeah, right. Yeah. So Victor, when was the first time you heard hip hop, and what was the song?
Oh wow, I remember it like yesterday. It was the full clip, okay. and it was Kool Keith.
Okay.
It was the full clip album when they came, when Gang Starr came out with that double CD, that double,
yeah,
you know, yeah, and yeah, I used to just be a little kid up to no good, you know, trying to rebel, and another album that caught my drift too, that just made me into a hip hop head, was the Dog Pound, the Dog Food. That project, that right there, that pretty much put the cherry on the pie for me. Yeah,
I heard that. So when Dog Food was going down, that story that I was telling you about the B-roll in apartments and people being nosy and whatnot, that's what was going. That was that period of time that I was experiencing that. You know what I'm saying?
So I started with like Warren. I started with like obviously the typical Snoop Dogg, you know, Dr. Dre, Warren G, and then, you know, but Dog Food, that right there took me to like just, you know, to explore a little more.
Wow.
In the realm of just lyricism and just, you know, just that raw, you know, raw lyrics.
You know what? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, yeah, and that's when I just started diving into Gang Starr. Yeah, went from Dog Pound to Gang Starr, and then what really got me in tune with just being an underground head was Dr. Doom, or AKA Kool Keith.
Yeah. Wow.
So first, since you're talking about like the Warren G's and all that kind of stuff, you know, a group that came out of there that, like, man, I really like them a lot, man. But for whatever reason they do, I really like the Twins, man. The Twins. Okay. No, they were part of Warren G's production unit and whatnot. Yeah. If you go back and do your G-Funk education, yeah, look up the Twins. The Twins had it cracking. You know what I'm saying? I like the Twins. And then on Kool Keith, it's a trip because with Kool Keith, I was introduced to him through Ultramagnetic. And like, that was like, to me, the kind of music they made wasn't necessarily for like dudes and girls to dance to, but it was like battle music, like lyrical battle music as well as dance battle music, man. Ultramagnetic. And I just remember saying, just like, man, this is some other stuff. But it was a trip because like they were like older dudes, you know what I'm saying? But the music they were making was just like man, I was really like a huge fan of Ultramagnetic and all that stuff. And then after Ultramagnetic, I would meet different guys in LA that knew Kool Keith, and then I was just kind of inspired by his work ethic. Like, dude, he was one of those dudes that do 1 million albums, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he has countless. You can't even count. You can't even count, and he has so many aliases too. So
yeah,
you know, so and his other aliases have their own distinct catalog. So, you know, but not to mention, you know, I'm on PharcydeTV, so not to mention, you know, Bizarre Ride. You know, that pretty much to me that album was like some next level stuff. You know. So it didn't even sound like current times at the moment. It's like it pretty much lyrically, the beats, Imani, Fat Lip, Booty Brown, which is one of my favorite MCs, like, you know, stylistically. Yeah, you know, so I could probably say that PharcydeTV distinctively was one of my biggest influences to, you know, and the next, you know, 15, 20 years later, I run this platform, you know, focus on this niche, you know, this underground hip hop, you know.
You know something crazy. I can honestly say, and I've never said this before, when they were doing like Bizarre Ride, like I never thought it would have been what it turned out to be. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't even understand it. But me really looking back at it, like now looking back at it, there were so many talented people around during that time that we were jaded to it. Like I tell people, like we weren't nerds. Like basically, you know, before they rapped, they would dance and stuff like that. So they would go out of whatever their city was, and like they had reputations around like Southern California for whoever did, like whatever they did, they had reputations. And so for me, you know, I always say like, man, you know, I was in the studio when they were making Bizarre Ride, and, you know, I didn't get it. But now I'm like, you know what? I didn't get it because there was something going on that I didn't understand. I was around it as it was going on. And not just with the PharcydeTV, there was other groups, you know, like going on, you know, coming out and kind of
Freestyle Fellowship, you know, the Project Blow.
I'll say, you know, Project Blow, they had stuff coming out of there, but I'll say like at the time it was kind of like
Souls of Mischief,
Freestyle Fellowship, Souls of Mischief, PharcydeTV. After that, Outkast. You had like this whole thing. But the crazy part is that like with the PharcydeTV, their fans, like, and this is before, so like real quick, like when I knew that they were like on a level, Lollapalooza side of the stage at Cal State Dominguez Velodrome, me standing on the side of the stage, Fishbone, George Clinton, Q-Tip, the Beastie Boys, watching my homeboys perform. And
that's something you'll never forget. That's something you'll never forget. That's something you'll never forget.
Blew my mind, man.
When did you first realize you had a passion for music?
Oh, well, I grew up with, you know, I fortunately grew up with an older brother, older sister who they were just music junkies, but they listened to just alternative music to, you know, from Bjork to Jamiroquai to you know, Nirvana, you know, all that stuff, you know. But, you know, me being a 90s kid, my passion for hip hop, I think it was just the beats. I was just drawn into the beats. For some reason, the beats in the 90s, especially around like, you know, with the 90 BPMs, those just grabbed my attention. And in my head, as a kid, I used to always listen to what I listened to, and I used to always just rap in my brain. I used to always just try to like, rap, but like, not to show people, but just, personally. And it's just my passion for music. I used to buy a lot of CDs. So, and it was the days where you buy certain stuff off of pure artwork. When you see something that's real dope, you're like, oh man, I just want to just cop the CD because it just, look how dope this artwork is. Or the features. And that's how I got acquainted to, Project Blow. That's how I got acquainted to High Road. That's how I got acquainted to Andre Nicotina. That's how I got acquainted to, guys even super underground, Genelec, Memphis Rain, Son of Ran, Hypoetical, the list goes on and on. But I just grew up. I grew up in a family of older siblings, and they were just music heads. I looked up to them, So, and my brother was in a band, and I think that's what hit it off. When my brother was in a band, I used to always see him and his homies just rehearse with they used to be called Star Project, and that's where my passion came from. On the music side. Hip hop, it just my acquaintances, my friends who just hand me these CDs. And it used to be the days where you buy the burn CDs in high school. The burn one. I never bought a real album back. You remember those days? You're like, yo, oh man, you got that. Oh, you got that new Andre Nicotina. Oh, here's a burn. Oh, I'll burn it for you. I'll burn it for you. And it was those burn days. So, and I grew up. I used to go to a record store called Stax in Cerritos. I don't know if people remember that.
Come on, man! Right off the freeway. It used to be right next to I passed that gun and ammo store with the first Stax was right off like where the
Alondra. It was right off Alondra, 605 and Alondra. Yeah. You get off the exit and make a left, and then they moved by the Cerritos Mall. So
right across the street.
So they used to have like wicked in stores, man, from like Gangstar in stores, Bumpy Knuckles, Arsonists, Dilated Peoples when they were coming up. Remember those days? The Beach Junkies, the Cerritos All Stars, and all those names resonate to this day with me. They might not resonate to the millions of people who listening to this other stuff right now, but I always kept in tune with that type of music. So it just the scene in the mid 90s and late 90s, I was in it. I was the kid 15, 16, ditching school, trying to hit up an in-store, trying to catch one of my favorite acts performing for free because I had no money. So we're either hitting up Cerritos, Pomona, or Whittier. That was like the three cities. Those were like the three cities. That was like the little triangle of hip hop in my little heyday when I was a teenager. But got into tagging and graffiti and
same here.
Obviously following others, but trying to feel like I wanted to belong to something more bigger than myself. So hip hop kind of just drew me in. Yeah.
So we have the YouTube comment section where people chime in. It's kind of blowing up right now. I say one of the main questions somebody asks is, what made you start doing a blog and not want to become a rapper or a producer?
And not want to be a producer
and not becoming a rapper or producer.
Oh, I started. Oh well, I'm a music first. I'm an artist first platform. So
educate them.
So in around 2007, 2006, I started making music. So I made my own beats off of Propeller Head, Reason, and me and my homie Profound. So that dude right there, he's part of the main reason why I'm his influence, his music impact on my life is the reason why probably I'm still in this today. So he's the one who kind of taught me how to rap, taught me how to make beats, and kind of broke me out of my shell. So whoever's asking that question, I'm part of a crew called Non-Combatants. We got 2 albums, one studio album called Divisioning Sound we dropped in 2010. And to this day, there's a handful of people who actually reach out to me and say, hey, when are you guys dropping music again? And this and that. But in 2011, that's when I launched the website. So, I went from a fan to an artist to creating a platform because I was just sick and tired of seeing other platforms not really entertaining me. And it's too much gossip. And, you know, back in 2011, that's when you kind of saw all the dope blogs turn into like gossipy type content type blogs, you know?
Yeah.
And so, yes, small story short, I woke up one day and I said, hey, underground hip hop. I always Google underground hip hop blogs and submit my music, you know, and I always used to submit my music to all these blogs. So like just one night, I just thought like, what if I just put those 4 words together at a .com? Let me see if it's available on GoDaddy. Because I saw like a GoDaddy commercial back in the days. And I knew nothing about websites. I know nothing about websites. And I just said like, look, I want to buy this .com because I want to learn. So first, for me to motivate to learn how to build a website, I need a .com first. So I bought it for $12. And Greg asked me earlier, like, you know, what was that like? Did you know? What were you buying? I'm like, actually, I didn't. I was holding on to the name for a couple of years. So I bought the domain like back in 2009. And I held on to it for 3 years because I was just teaching myself on YouTube how to build a WordPress website. And something about a website or a blog intrigued me. And I just wanted to learn about it. And taking the independent approach, not hiring anybody, not asking for people's advice, you know, because, you know, I came from a circle where I'm sure everybody could relate, you know, you as a comedian, you know, Greg as an influencer, you know, when you tell somebody at a young age you want to pursue a certain avenue, it's more of a passion type career, people are going to put you down like, hey, good luck with that. You know, some of my best friends, some of my close family members were like, yo, are you sure you want to make this blog? You waste your time writing about hip hop? Come on. So that kind of motivated me more, you know, and I was I'm prior military. So when I got out the military, I had to do something, you know, so I got out I did the Navy thing for 5 years and I got out in 2007. And so I had to do something. And that's how it launched. Yeah.
So with the Navy thing, I'm gonna get into my question, but that always you hear about people going into the armed forces, but the Navy, like, man, when I look at the armed forces, I look at the super smart dudes, Air Force. Like usually they got like super smart dudes, Air Force. Then the grittiest and the grimiest, just ready to go hard, the Marines touch dirt first, man.
I love the Marine Corps. I got a back, you know, I got a close relationship with the Marine Corps.
Yeah,
I can tell you that. Yeah.
And then the Navy, I look at it, I'm like, dang, you probably had to be on water, man.
Actually, about my military side, I never saw water, never saw a ship in my life. I was never in a submarine, never on a ship, never saw a boat. I never got seasick in the Navy. So
you lucky.
You know, I was with the Marine Corps the whole time.
Okay.
Yeah. So I became a Navy corpsman. So I just remember, man, as much as I want to talk about hip hop, you know, yes, my life, I'm prior military. So when I graduated high school from one of those, you know, throwaway high schools, a continuation, you know, I got kicked out of all the high schools I went to.
Okay.
I was a troublemaker. I was a little hip hop head, you know, and
hey man, you living life.
Yeah, just living life, learning and putting my family through some shit. And walked in, you know, I saw this recruiter. I walked in the recruiting station. I had a broken leg. I sprained my ankle. I'm like, yo, I'm graduating with a BS, you know, high school diploma, which is not going to take me nowhere from this continuation high school. What you guys got? And he was the coolest dude. He sat me in there. He said, hey, you want to be in the medical field? I'm like, okay, cool. So he was like, you want to be an Army medic or a Navy corpsman? And I'm like, well, Army medic, man, that shit sounds dangerous right now because 9/11 just happened, you know? So I don't want to be no Army medic, but a hospital corpsman sounds very safe. Like I'll be in a hospital, right? So that's what happened. So that's why I joined the Navy, because I just wanted to, you know, get out of Norwalk, you know, get out that area. So I joined when I was 17, and Next thing you know, a year later, I'm patrolling the streets in Iraq with the Marine Corps as an infantry corpsman, as an infantry medic.
Did your parents have to sign you in because you were under 18?
No. I left the boot camp like literally the month I turned 18. I signed up when I was 17.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had to stop fooling around, stop experimenting, So luckily I did that. And then once I got to boot camp, met some good people and and I wasn't the only one that liked the rap, so everybody, I was into with all the hip hop heads in the military. So a lot of my acquaintances, even today, they always remember me as being that hip hop dude, like, yo, Doc Urena, he always talked about hip hop. There's not one day he didn't talk about it, So I never really switched up my stilo. Yes, I was just always talking about hip hop. I was always buying CDs, introducing people to, like, when I used to ask people, like, hey, what you listen to? Oh, I listen to Pac or Snoop or Big. I'm like, oh man, come on, you got to listen to High Road, PHARCYDE, or Visionaries, or Living Legends, or stuff like that, or 3MGs, or Andre Nicotina, or Necro, or have you heard of Nonfiction, Arsonist? So the list goes on. And like I told you, Greg, I used to show people my CD case. In my CD case, most of the times, people look through my CD case and they're like, yo, I've never heard of none of these people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's what my CD case is all about. I'm not here trying to buy no tip. Why support the dudes
underground hip hop?
Yeah, why support the dudes who've already sold millions when I could support the homie that I saw at the in-store or a couple of days ago?
Yeah, remind me, I had a little, I wouldn't even say a party, just I had like a lot of people from my high school at my house, and I wasn't one of the popular kids, but for some reason everybody wanted to meet at my house, and I threw on some music. I threw on Quali and Mad Lib Liberation. I played that album. It just came out, and they'll act like that about a third song. It was like, yo, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, yo, this is what I listen to, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, they went through my stuff. They're like, yo, like, do you have, I grew up in like 2003, 4. Like, that's what I was in high school.
Yeah, Nelly. Yeah, Nelly, man.
Yeah, I'm class of 02, man.
Okay, yeah. So you get it. Yeah, we was on MF Doom. We was on, anybody was on Stone's Throw. And it's kind of cool because, rocking with Smooch, I've been able to, like, get to talk to or meet a lot of these people. So through this podcast,
and it was all about dubbing Friday night flavors and seditious beats back in the days. So I used to be dubbing on the tapes. You know how you used record Friday night flavors when you missed it, you could just record it. And next thing play it in your tape deck. So I was one of those too, man. So if it wasn't for seditious beats and Friday night flavors and stacks, just that type of scene, that pretty much drew me in. And obviously I never stopped being a hip hop head in the military. And back to my military stuff, I did 5 years, went to Iraq, served with the Marine Corps proudly, and then I got out in 2007. So I did a run from 2002, 2007, and around my 4th or 5th year, I was thinking I was gonna be doing 20 years in the military. I got out as an E5, as an equivalent, petty officer, 2nd class. So it's like the equivalent to a sergeant in the Army and the Marine Corps. And so that what influenced me to try to do something when I got out, because I'm like, man, if I'm getting out when I'm this successful in the military, I got to do something. So yeah.
Where'd you go to junior high school?
Junior high school. So I went to East Middle School, Fay Ross, and Carmenita. So
you were active, man. I said you were active, man.
Yeah, I got kicked out of every single middle school. Yeah.
Graffiti?
Graffiti. Not really. It's just me trying to sell those nickels and dimes, man.
No.
Okay. You was active.
You were that kid.
Yeah, I was that kid. Putting my parents through some hell, man. They were divorcees, and just I'm just trying to be. I was trying to be the leader of the pack too. So I was trying to be a shot caller, You know,
dang, I'm sure you had your
to be
parents.
honest, a lot of people, if they know me, if they know me, they'll be surprised, man. But yeah, man, I was like 14, 15, try to come up on like ounces and QPs and like put them in Nick sacks and dime bags and just trying to make my money. And that's where my entrepreneur side came into play.
Okay.
Because keep in mind, I used to not really smoke it. I used to just want to slang it.
Hey, you know? I didn't until like my, until my 20s. Like, man, I didn't get it. I didn't. Then one night I got it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm
not gonna lie. The music that I listen to, hey, it factored in my decision making. So,
what was the poppin' music going on? So as you were going to these multiple junior high schools and moving around.
Well, junior high was the Pac and Dre and Biggie, but in high school, that's when I was just diving into just more conscious rap.
Okay.
More lyrically driven. You actually got to listen to the lyrics. You got to replay it. And one of my favorite artists to this day is one of my close friends. His name is Memphis Reigns. He came out with a legendary album called Scorpion Circles with Janelec, self-produced. They're out of Santa Cruz. And it was like more of a word of mouth type thing. You just find these dope acts through word of mouth, through your homies. And it was just a burnt CD. And then that's when I just became an underground head officially. I was like, yo, I am not going to listen to no commercial garbage no more. I got to listen to dudes like this. And another artist that was trending, I could say, how when people say right now, people are trending online, back in the days, people were trending word of mouth.
Yeah.
So it was the Andre Nicotinas. It was the Mac Dre's. It was it was the High Rolls. It was the Souls of Mischief. Not Souls of Mischief, the High Roll, like Deltron 3030. Remember when that album dropped? So it was like the Deltron 3030. That's when Sideways dropped, from PharcydeTV. And that's when I was like, yo, these guys just elevated their career with this right here. So when Sideways dropped, I was just like, yo, man, come on. And and then UK, and then Michael Myers. I remember one of my favorite rappers was a guy named Michael Myers. And I remember I went to a Gangstar in-store at Stax. And I wanted to see Freddie Fox because I was like, look, if Primo and Guru are going to be there, most likely Freddie Fox is going to be there. So I remember I went to this in-store, and then that was one of my fond memories because we were in this in-store in Cerritos, and Guru walks in with one of those Bluetooth devices, and back in the days, everybody thought like, man, those things are like $1,000, And I'm just like, yo, this is so dope. And I look to my left and I see like the Far Eye, and I look to my right, I see Michael Myers, and I see like some of my favorite MCs in there as fans themselves at this in-store. So it was more, I was just in the scene. Yeah, and I used to listen to a lot of MCs who were fans of other people's stuff too. Okay. Not the typical stuff off of notoriety or popularity. I was just drawn in to just the scene in general, the graph scene, the b-boy scene, the stacks, and the stacks days.
Michael Myers, man.
Yeah, you remember, the Hitchcock of hip hop.
Yeah. So in high school, what did you think you would be? What would be your path after you graduated?
I honestly didn't know. I got kicked out of all my high schools, so that's why I joined the military. Because I had no distinct path. I just wanted to get out of here. So when I joined up, my life totally changed. I was out of here. I was living in Great Lakes for a while during training, and used to go to Chicago a lot, to the substation there. I used to take the train from Great Lakes to Chicago, take the train to the airport, and go home. Wow. So that's when I had my first taste of traveling as an 18-year-old kid. I had the money, so I just like to travel. So, and that's when I learned about typical cats. So when I was in Chicago, that's when I started fucking with like the Chicago scene. I used to always ask around like, yo, what's popping out here? Like, I'm trying to go to a show on the weekend. I'm trying to sneak out of this base right here. I'm not trying to be confined. I'm trying to hit up a show on the weekend. I was just one of those, I used to always wait. Yeah, and in military, I used to my alarm clock was like music of A$AP Rock. So and like, you know, so he had a verse on one of his albums. I used to say good morning. So I used to always religiously use that song as my wake up song to get motivated to do my training. And but in the Chicago scene, that's when I started figuring out who was Typical Cats, Quell, Dennis Kane, Quasar, and stuff like that. You know, real underground heads, not real, but you know, some underground heads don't know the names that I'm mentioning, because to this day, those are the people that I'm still bumping. Those are the people that I'm still booking for shows. You know, because you know they might not have millions of streams, but I know if I book them for a show, fans are gonna come out because it's like those rare type acts. You know, remember Benefit? Remember that dude? Y'all don't remember the dude named Benefit? That dude right there,
real
man.
Quick though, real quick. Man.
I'm going in, man. I'm going in.
No,
I'm
you know underground hip hop, man. You got me like, man. I'm just like
everything you say. I look up. I got like 6 pages open right now.
The LimeWire days, man.
LimeWire. What? That's hilarious. Question. This is from the comment section. Do you feel like social media is killing hip hop or helping?
I can't really say it's killing. It's helping, man. Why wouldn't it not help? It's so easy to find. It's so easy to dig now and look up off a simple hashtag. You know, the word underground hip hop has its own hashtag. So it's like typical rappers don't use that hashtag to promote their music, but you know the ones who are lyrically driven, conscious, the boom bap dudes, like, you know, they're gonna use that hashtag. So it's like, to me, you know, social media, I think it's a great place to not only release your music, you know, promote your music. You know, who would have thought that, you know, back in the days, you used to need to hire a publicist, get your placement on a magazine, or you have to, you know, be featured on all these albums even to get relevant. Because, you know, I used to find dope rappers off of features. You know, I bought the full clip. That's how I found out about Group Home, you know, and Alpha Ra and J. Rue. You know, so then I started buying their albums. So now with social media, man, we got our own hashtag: underground hip hop, independent hip hop, boom bap. You know, so I think if you want to find it, it's not hard to find. You know, but who would have known that now you could advertise on social media now, and you could literally, for an artist, you could literally market your music to a certain niche way easier than there was 10, 20 years ago.
Question.
And that's now we're talking about business and marketing and how to take advantage of your tools that you have now that we didn't have 10 years ago or 20 years ago.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So question. So since social media has become so relevant, has that pulled away from the growth of the undergroundhiphopblog.com, or do you think that it's aided the growth of underground hip hop?
It's aided it tremendously. You know, if it first it was Facebook, and then now it's Instagram.
Okay.
In 10 years from now, it's going to be something else.
You know, it was MySpace. You don't feel like that was helped underground hip hop at all?
You predating him, man. You predating him, man.
No. Yeah, we had MySpace, but I was using MySpace for my own music. You know, back in the days, right? The Reverb Nation days and the MySpace days, and but I do remember MySpace. Yeah, I think MySpace was completely whack. I don't know, man. I'm just I just
hey,
you know,
go down. Hold up, swole up, you know.
Like that type of talk.
But if it wasn't for MySpace, I would have never found out what E-Bombs World was.
E-Bombs World. Whoa.
Remember that?
Whoa, what are we doing, man? This is a whole time machine conversation now.
Yeah. So social media has definitely aided the underground hip hop, but you know what? Google is everything to me. Google is the root that keeps me going, because even if it's MySpace, when MySpace was going around, Google was thriving. When Facebook is at its prime, Google's still at its prime. Even right now with Instagram is at its prime. Google is at its prime. Come on, whenever you search anything on your iPhone, it's a Google search automatically. And I just kind of feel like
Bing, honestly.
Oh, Bing. Oh, okay.
I use Bing, bro.
Shame on you. Shame on you.
Oh, you one of those. Okay, you one of those.
Yeah. Okay. I have a Hotmail account too. I have a Hotmail, MSN. But go ahead. Yeah. You got a point.
I just think the root of the foundation of underground hip hop blog is that Google SEO. When people just Google the words underground hip hop, our website is literally right below Wikipedia. So that's what keeps me relevant. So people hit that first and then they follow my socials. That's what I believe. And to this day, that's what really happens, because I think that's how people kind of search for us and they find us and then they follow us. But our Instagram, our Facebook, we don't have the biggest platforms in the world. I don't really care. I just focus on the people who care and we cater to the people who actually rock with us. And the industry I kind of feel like the industry doesn't really rock with us as much as these other platforms. Like I said, the gossipy ones, we're more into album reviews. Our album reviews is our strength. And I got to give credit to one of my publishers. His name is Ian out of Detroit. Man, he writes some of the best album reviews imaginable on any platform. I could challenge any writer to challenge this kid. And he's like a hip hop encyclopedia, and y'all should follow him on his name is Legends Never Dies. And yeah,
I read the Reverie like the
Oh, you read the Reverie album review?
Yeah.
Awesome. I'm the one. I'm the one who wrote that.
Oh, shoot. Okay. Hey, man, I wasn't even paying attention to it, but that's what kind of
fan of your work.
Huh? What'd you say, Jeremy?
Says, see, fan of his work.
Oh yeah, because honestly, man, you came from Nancy, so I knew that it was something to what you did and what you had going on. And then we had a conversation and I was like, no, man, this dude, he's really into underground hip hop. He has a passion for it and everything. And so I was like, well, let me check his website. And then I was like, well, I want to read it. Like, I just want to read to like kind of see. And I was like, man, it was cool. Cause it was like, it reminded me of an old school album review,
Wow.
I mean? Like, that's what it reminded me of. It wasn't something that you were paid, who knows what the politics were and the whole thing. But
when I write reviews, I don't get paid. When I get down on a review, I write a review for somebody I'm a fan of or I support.
Okay.
And I'm sure if people hear this, I'm sure I'm gonna get DMs. Hey, I know you support me, write my review. Like I said, Reverie, I've known this girl and since the beginning. Underground Hip Hop Blog, we interviewed her at some show around 9-10 years ago when she was like at her infant stages of her pursuing music, and she was relevant back then. And I recently got reacquainted with her at an album release party of a girl called Gavlin and DJ Hoppa. And when I saw her, she told me she was coming out with a new album. I still follow her, but I was just under pressure too, because sometimes when I feel like there's rappers who are doing their thing, I sometimes I want to be the ones that I run to my computer. I want to be the first one that writes that review before other websites do it.
Okay.
But sometimes I feel like artists like Reverie, even though she has a massive following, I don't think other websites are gonna cover her unless her people pay them.
Yeah, my experience with her. We were dealing with some Golden Voice cats and we were just doing a lot of shows and we were kind of just like moving in the same circle. But you know what? Even before the Golden Voice thing and moving in the same circle, there's a collective called the Cloud Makers. They were on
Cloud Makers. I remember them.
Yeah, they're on PharcydeTV Fest. And one of the guys' thesis, he put me on to her because I wanted to we were doing some PharcydeTV merch and we were looking for somebody to rock some of the merch and do a photo shoot or something like that. And he was like, oh man, this girl Reverie's dope. She's blowing up. She has her own, you know, little thing going on. Then I had this cat, Steven, who worked for me. Shout out to Steven. He was like, yeah, man, she's really, you know, she's got something cracking. And then just by coincidence, as years went on, we kind of did the whole little Golden Voice circuit around like California together, like the different venues. And it was amazing to me because, you know, first of all, she could rap, you know what I'm saying? And like, she had this cult following that was kind of like, it really made me kind of like, you know, not to have like huge videos and all that kind of stuff, for so many people to know who she was, it was kind of amazing to me.
And I'm very humbled because, you know, look what a review does.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the value of this website. And sometimes I underestimate what I got, you know. So I write this review on Reverie. You got people from PharcydeTV reading it. You got people Googling new album reviews, and they're probably gonna stumble across it. If I could just make her one new fan, I just feel like I did my job.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I hadn't even thought about her for like several years. Like I totally had forgotten. And then when I saw the thing, I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
She might not need new fans or whatever. You know, I can't even afford a booker. You know, but that doesn't deter me to giving somebody their flowers when they deserve it. You know, and it was more of a review that I just wanted to give her flowers, like give her credit for what she's overcome in her career. And like I said, when you're reading an in-depth review like that, it's because I kind of know their career. I don't know her that much personally, but she makes a type of music when you listen to it, you feel like you know her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's what, you know, that's the type of music I gravitate to. You know, when you listen to somebody's raps and you kind of just feel like you know them. You know, when you meet them, you're like, oh, hey, what's up? How you doing? Are you okay? Because I heard the song about depression, or hey, I heard the song about winning, and you're just killing the scene right now. Congratulations. And but we're just acquaintances. She's been to my office multiple times, but she's just one artist out of the thousands I've written about. You know,
that's dope. Who's the first musician that made you say, I want to do that?
Like to keep writing my reviews or making music?
Making music.
Making music, I could probably say Necro.
You throwing it out there.
Yeah, I'm throwing him out there. The king of death rap. I was more in tune of his beats back in the days when it was nonfiction, arsonists, and it was just a big psychological scene. Mr. Hyde, you know, I used to listen to his beats back in the days, and I'm like, yo, if I'm gonna get into writing and rapping, I gotta rap over beats like this, because these beats right here are kind of on some next level shit, you know.
Wow.
And so, you know, I went back from West Coast hip hop, East Coast hip hop, West Coast hip hop. You know, I was telling you, Greg, if you look at my CD case, it's like encyclopedia. You know, my homie Pause One, when he first met me, he wanted to look at my CD case, and when he was looking in it, he's like, "Oh, no wonder you're a rapper. No wonder you're an MC. No wonder you make beats. No wonder you're into editorials. No wonder." You know.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, this platform and just my passion for music and editorials, it kind of landed in my lap. You know, I felt like quitting every year when I was making music or doing my blog. I felt like quitting, you know, because sometimes you feel like your platform is not getting the flowers or the daps it should. But every day there's another spark of motivation of a kid emailing me saying, "Hey, if it wasn't for you, I would have known about him." Or, "Hey, you rap too? I just listened to you and you're kind of dope compared to the other, you know, influencers or people who run websites or blogs, you know." And I'm just like, "Oh man, thank you. Thanks for even looking me up. You know, all because you read something that I did. Now you're looking up my music. Oh, I really appreciate that." You know, but if there was one artist, I could say Necro, the Necro beats. Production wise, it was Necro. Lyrically too, because he's a beast on the mic. Lyrically, I could probably say Memphis Reigns and Genolec. You know, and those guys are like some super underground dudes. You got to look up. And
now I'm on Necro right now. I got Benefit pulled up. I got Memphis Reigns. No, you put me on. Like, yeah, I haven't heard these people. I ain't gonna lie.
And then obviously, you know, the typical living legends, Hyro, Visionaries. 2Mex was a big influence of mine.
What's your favorite? What's your favorite group? I know I'm putting you on point right here, but what's your favorite?
My favorite group. I got many. Okay. I gotta say Tribe. That's my all-time favorite. Gangstar. Ghetto Boys. Hey. We were just talking about them earlier.
Yeah.
PHARCYDE. But when it comes down to like underground, I could say Arsonist, Nonfiction, Hieroglyphics, Visionaries, and Living Legends. Yeah. That's the answer to your question. And what else? Souls of Mischief. I could say. I think I'm being very repetitive here, but
it's all relative.
No, but it's all relative, you know. Yeah. And I even dabble with UK hip hop and international hip hop because, you know, I get submissions from all over the world. So one of my favorite groups, I think they're like the Wu-Tang of Spain, or Spanish hip hop, is a group called Violadores del Verso. Those dudes are like literally the Wu-Tang of Spanish.
What is that again?
The Violators of the Verse. So they're called Violadores del Verso.
Okay.
Yeah, if you listen to them and you see their live shows, my dream is to take a plane ticket to Spain and just attend one of their live shows. You know, but obviously, you know what? I kind of forgot to mention. I think Wu-Tang obviously is all time. They're the Rolling Stones of hip hop. I could probably say. You know, they are. You know,
what do you feel like the best advice anybody's ever given you?
To be honest, I don't remember anybody distinctively giving me any sort of advice that motivated me to do something.
Wow.
You're just that little hard-headed kid, man.
I was a hard-headed kid. I was a hard-headed kid, but you know what? It was more the advice of negative advice, like, oh, you can't do that. What you doing? You know, it's gonna be hard for you to, like, the vision that you have for your blog is impossible. How are you gonna be able to do that? You know, and that's what motivates me. You know, and in my circle, unfortunately, I didn't kick it with web developers or little, you know, geeks or, you know, dudes who I could take advice from. You know, my military days were over. So when I got out, you know, I went to school. I went to college, University of Laverne. Nobody was really tech savvy. I was going to school for business, and I just had to learn this web development, this WordPress thing myself. You know, so I could probably say I took my own advice, but, you know, probably the best advice I've ever got with people I looked up on YouTube. I learned from YouTube way more than I learned in college.
Wow.
Me, and me.
Hey, you keeping it real, man.
Yeah.
He's self-made, you know.
Yeah. And I don't remember anybody giving me advice. You know, maybe advice like some Gary V videos. You know what I'm saying?
There's someone sitting there salty, like, man, he don't even remember I helped it. Like, yo,
yeah,
I gave you that quarter, bro.
Yeah, and I just don't remember. Like, I really don't remember. But, you know, motivational videos, you know, I love those, man. I love when I see somebody on YouTube just giving people, not just me, but everybody, advice on how to get it. You know, how not to give up, how to move forward. Don't quit. You know, it's just, you know, it's more common sense advice. But I'm more of a learner, man. I'm not an expert. I'm not no marketing expert. I'm not an expert in blogging. I'm not an expert in hip hop. I stay away from those people.
This blog says different, but we'll let you slide on that one. This is different. This is actually
every day I'm still learning.
This is actually my favorite question. Every day I'm still learning. I want to ask. It's kind of a messy question, but it's kind of a fun one for me. If you could change If you could change the trajectory of any rapper's career, who would you choose and what would you change?
Fuck.
If you want to, I can go real quick.
Nah.
Go ahead.
It just, I need, we need more of the OGs, coming back, man.
Okay.
Yeah, we need more of the OGs coming back. Because I'm getting sick and tired of all these young cats, man. Getting all the fame and glory.
All right,
Foggy,
old man. We don't do that on this. I used to,
say names
4 years ago, but since I've evolved, we don't do that on this podcast, man. You go,
nah. I'm in between. I just, I can't really say, it's probably somebody but I can't go there because I've seen this guy. I've seen this guy. Fuck, as a fan, I've seen certain individuals, doing drugs and fucking all stoned up, not weed on some other shit, and like I would have wished DMX would have just cleaned himself up and made it again.
Of course, yeah.
That's probably something that partly hit me hard because. I'm a big fan of DMX, man, and I actually booked him for a show. Got to meet him.
Okay.
I got one of his dopest interviews on my platform. The homie Pause One interviewed him and straight up in the hotel room. He was so nice, open. He was so open to us, and I could say that. Just like, man, I would have wished he would have just cleaned himself up and just made it because I think that's what a lot of people wanted. A lot of people wanted that. And he always got second chances, third chances, fourth chances. Not a lot of people get so many chances like that. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and to the underground, I don't really know much underground rappers who, because they don't get publicized as much. They don't get really much publicity. But there's a few OGs though, underground OGs that I know that got addicted to drugs, and I'm just like, man, they're so dope, and they get kicked out of their crews, and next thing you know, when you book a certain group, they're not all there. And then you're like, yo, I paid money to see this group, but then there's only two of them. You probably know, Greg. And then like people separate, and then because I'm the type of dude where I'm a fan first before anything. So it's like when I'm buying a ticket, I take pride and I save all my concert tickets. Like I can show you this right here. I got this. Boom! I got the first ever Griselda show when they're all together. Boom! West Side Gun, Conway, Benny the Butcher. I collect all these concert tickets, and because I look at these as memorabilia. But me as a fan. And as a consumer, there's a lot of groups these days. They're not all collectively together.
But you got to understand this too. This is one thing that I understood. Like, depending on the group or what group, a lot of times, and this is something that is crazy how I kind of learned this because I spent some time with a guy who was lead singer of like a huge pop group in the UK, and it was crazy because we were always in the company of like a lot of people, but there would be times when we would just talk and he would just say stuff to me, and it was, and I don't know why he'd say it to me, but he kind of like on his rise to stardom, he was like he went back to a time in life of when he was like 20 years old. And he was like, Greg, fuck, man, we were just too young to handle all of that. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, we were kids, and we did come from privilege because like all the guys in the group kind of they all came from a particular like suburb or whatever. So you people in the suburb, let's just even say if nobody's millionaires, you got a bunch of middle class dudes. So everybody's they're coming from the same. But he was just telling me how the fame came so fast. Like, and that's one thing that people don't really consider. And like for me as a manager, like I've just seen it in groups, period. Like not even on a hip hop level. Like I can see it, put it this way. I've gone to shows where I've seen like groups that have been like on my super bucket list to watch. And then you have like a couple members show up and they're just like kind of cool. And then like I've been to a show where literally they weren't my favorite group, but they were a lot of people's favorite group. But one of the members, he was so faded, he literally had to have people on both sides of him and walk him out to the stage and then just kind of let him go. But the crazy thing is, for the show, the cat pulled it off. But after the show to the side of the stage, then the two people came and they got up underneath his arms and they walked him off. And I was just like, man. So I say all that to say, there is one side of a coin to being a fan where you're like, okay, I'm a fan of this music because it's what I like and this, that, and the other. But then like for me, I have like more of an empathetic side to the artist where I'm like, man, I understand that like you take somebody who never dealt with money. Like, man, I'm 50 years old. I'm just learning how to deal with money. You know what I'm saying? And I've had money pass through my hands a couple of times where I felt like this could have been the life-changing chips to come into my life to just, to do something. So I say all that to say, when you got these guys that get caught up on drugs and this, that, and the other, you can't take fame out of the equation, because fame is a drug that is like, I've seen fame do somebody worse than heroin.
And yes men. No, and yes men too. And then next thing you know, you're with a group of yes men.
Yeah.
And everybody's giving you whatever you want, and nobody's even asking questions, or they're trying to prove to you that they're as cool as you. But I do agree with you. Talking about all these names that I mentioned, I kind of think about it as I get older, I start understanding like, oh, no wonder they're not together. No wonder something happened, because all these guys, they blew up in their early 20s.
Dude, most of them. You got to put it this way. So me and Brown would have this ongoing conversation when I was younger. And for me, for whatever reason, Brown has like, he has an empathy about him where like he just doesn't go hard on his judgment to people or just whatever. Me coming into hip hop like kind of after the fact a little bit, I came in with like this very hard personality where like things were either black or white, no gray, whatever. And I would always say like, man, if I had all that money, I'd never do that. And then Brown would always say, dude, you don't know what you would do. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have no idea. And then it's so crazy because, I look at these younger guys where like, I'll say for about the last 5 years, I've embraced the younger artists and just accepted them as,
it's kind of tough.
That's tough. What it is. That's what it is, man. Don't be that old fogey old man just hating everything, whatever.
I respect all their work ethics though. Let's be real, man. These kids are winning because they know how to work. They know how to work.
Yeah. They know how to work, but also, man, you got to understand a lot of the rap, I'll say because this ain't no disses, ain't no nothing or whatever, but this is what I'll say. You got guys like the Slugs that did like not necessarily, they did music that showed more of their vulnerable side, like more than just a rap about a girl or a rap about this or whatever. They would really go into like depression or just whatever. They would like show their vulnerable side. So now you have like the Little Uzi Verts, rest in peace, the Extensions, you have all these cats and they're like really open with it. Like they're taking like what Slug did, where Slug would so let's just say you have a group like the PharcydeTV. They'll do a love song, Pass Me By, which is kind of like a love or an infatuation song. Then you have another level of it where you have a Slug where he'll go into like other issues, other problems, other things going on that are kind of scratching the surface a little further. But like where they at right now, there's no ceiling to it. You know what I'm saying? So you just got to understand, you got these angry kids, you know, people that have come, which like, I get the South. I didn't get the South for a very long time, but it's kind of like with the South, you have poverty, you have, you know, man, you want to make a party song. You want to make a song about like you want to make a song, a feel good song for whatever the geographic feel good is for your, you know what I'm saying? Like we were lucky. I look at it like this.
And talking about and talking about these new kids too. If they're not on the radio, they're underground.
Yeah.
In their mind, they think they're underground.
Yeah.
And I put them on sometimes.
Well, would you define that? Would you define it as underground? What do you define as underground then? Is it underground like an era, or is it like, you know,
that's
like real hip hop?
That's what I could answer the question. Getting back to like what has social media done or the internet done? Mm-hmm. I think it's diluted the genre just a little bit, mm-hmm. because you know you know the PHARCYDEs and the Living Legends and the High Roads, they're not there no. The underground is the Suicide Boys, the Extensions, because you know he never got radio play.
Nah, but
I tell you, one of the biggest examples of that is Tyler, the Creator, ran the Grammys last year. You know what I mean? Like he ran the Grammys, and he is not a radio artist. He's not a radio artist.
No, and lyrically, I listen to Tyler, the Creator, and like even J. Cole. Like, yo, these guys are just so lyrically driven. They get respected in every subgenre of hip hop, you know, and you know, we're even known. To be honest, there's a lot of kids who know us because we put on a kid named Trippie Redd.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If you look up the words Trippie Redd on YouTube, it's usually a lot of times a video that comes on our channel. He's at our office spitting some rhymes. Mm-hmm. You know, and I would have never known this kid would have blew up. Mm-hmm. Or Coda the Friend, or Dax, or Beans. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, I never realized that, you know, I've created a platform where, you know, we get them when they're young and when they're sprouting, not blooming, but when they're sprouting, you know.
Rebound done well, my man. Rebound done well. You know what I'm saying? You spun it back.
Yeah. But I love these kids because some of these kids and their teams are some of the most professional people you ever meet. And they're not typically what you see on YouTube. They're not like that in real person. They're not like that in reality. But
there's not a sell.
I give all these kids, man. They just know how to sell it. But I give all these kids props, man. If they want to pull up to my office and spit some rhymes, they got to spit though, you know. So at the end of the day, when they come to the office and I do these mic sessions, and my brother shoots them. Shout out to my brother, hip hop vlogger. He shoots all the mic sessions. Like, I don't care if you're an auto-tune artist or, you know, a trap rapper. When you come to underground hip hop blog, guess what you need to do? You got to spit on the mic, because if you don't spit, we're not going to shoot it.
You got an auto-tune. You got a vocoder or some type of tool there so they can spit with the.
Nah, I don't know how to do that. I really don't know how to do that, man. I kind of tell cats like, yo, people who use rappers who use auto tunes is because they don't know how to rap. You know, you know, it's just their way. Just, I don't know. I have my opinions on auto tune, but you know, if you, who started it? Who started the auto tune? It was
Roger Zapp, if technically. But if you want to get T-Pain, credit.
Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, look. If you're not T-Pain, I ain't fucking with it. If it's not T-Pain, I ain't fucking with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of rappers you ain't fucking with. I'll be honest with you. But I was gonna say the people that when I was thinking of the question, as far as like changing trajectory, I was thinking like, man, there's people who I say somebody who had the biggest buzz and probably was the biggest letdown. Not his fault, just for whatever reason, was Papoose. I just, when he was coming up and that alphabetical slaughter came out, everybody thought he was on. This is the guy. Not Supreme Jim going to be the hottest album ever. And then nothing. Then you heard a little something like, oh, it's coming. And then more nothing. So I was like, yo, Papoose. Then finally, years and years later, after the hype was over, of course he came out. But man, Papoose, I was like, if I could change anybody's trajectory, I would have liked a solid album from Papoose in the year 2004, period.
I'll give you one better. Jay Electronica. I was on Rock the Bells. He was on Rock the Bells 2008 with us. I wasn't familiar with his music. Cat from New Orleans. He was just supposed to be God, like just supposed to be God. And like he was dope, like he was really dope. And then it was like he had this record coming out. Matter of fact, I can remember being at Madison Square Garden. Jay-Z had just did whatever he did to become owner of the basketball team.
Oh, yeah.
Gorillas were doing a show there. Mos Def was there for the Gorillas show, and Jay Electronica was in town. And I remember a manager from another old school hip hop group that was my homeboy that got Jay Electronica outside in there. And it was Mos, Jay-Z, and Jay Electronica meeting. And Beyonce was there. And that was when Jay first really started messing with Jay Electronica and was kind of like, that was when I guess however their stuff went on, that was kind of where everything was like really getting cemented. But I'll say, man,
he was too comfortable. I think it's a difference because, like, Papoose and certain guys, I feel like they was trying and they got caught up in their record deal stuff. Jay Electronica had one of the best record deals ever, under one of the biggest artists ever, and did nothing with it. That was on him. I think he got comfortable because he was. I don't want to get too much into it. I'm too nosy, but my point is that he could put an album out anytime. That's his fault. Period. That's his fault.
To answer your question, hey, do y'all know who Locksmith is?
Who?
Locksmith? No. That's one artist that probably I would change the trajectory. Like, I just wish he was doing bigger and better things, man. He's just so underrated, man, he's one of my favorite artists, man. Locksmith. He's one of my favorite artists. He be killing any cypher he does, any radio show he does. But in the Papoose realm and all that, I kind of wish Cassidy would have done way more than what he did in the battle scene.
Cassidy,
I'm a big Cassidy fan. If you listen to his jams, he's really dope. But
I mean, he had three albums. I mean, you wanted a fourth? You think he had more story to tell?
Yeah, I think so. I they just label him as a battle rapper.
Yeah.
Like, once you're in that segment as a battle rapper or a cypher dude or a radio freestyle dude, then you just get cornered in and you kind of can't break away from that. And that's what happened to Cannabis, man. And I just wish Cannabis never did that battle with the cast and pulled out the piece of paper.
Oh man! You saw that one? Oh yeah.
Come on, man.
It wasn't his fault.
What you think about that, Greg? You saw that? We pulled out the piece of paper with the cast. You saw that?
Okay. When this is what I'll say about that. When you have people that proclaim themselves as the best, there's just always just with the way life is set up. Somebody's just gonna have your card, like it's gonna be something that's gonna come, whatever. But this is what I'll say: the rapper that I would say changed the trajectory of, and man, he was kind of bitter for a while, and me watching the Ava DuVernay Good Life documentary, I could kind of testify to his pain and why he felt the way he felt, like Volume 10, Pistol Grip Pump.
Oh, Pistol Grip Pump? Oh, come on.
Dude, okay, yeah.
He really got his style jacked, man. Oh, he got his style jacked, and by a huge rapper right now. I ain't gonna go into all that because that's whatever. But I'll say when he was in that documentary and he said, dude, LA was on the verge of just really this style of music they were doing kind of blowing up. I could say, like, man,
Volume 10, Volume 10 reminds me of Ahmad too. Remember that?
Yeah, but he was different, dude.
But he was more hard. Oh, no, Volume 10 was hard though. He was hard. He was with it.
He had this.
But I think Ice Cube bit his style, man. Ice Cube, somebody.
That was the
man. Ice Cube bit his style nasty. Ice Cube bit his style nasty, man.
Yeah,
you know,
that was the.
I'm gonna check that out though. That's funny.
No,
that's a good call.
No, I'll give it to him. And so, man, we've been going long, but we about to wrap him up a little bit. My question will be, what do you miss most about before pandemic times?
I just miss the normality, man. Who doesn't?
But normality, you know, meaning
the live shows, just the experience. And like me being a guy who actually, I'm in the streets throwing some of these shows in LA. I just, you know, I miss not all the drama, not all the questions, not all the what ifs. You know, I know you asked me earlier, Greg, you know, before the interview, like, where were you when the pandemic hit, right? When the pandemic hit, I was literally at a West Side Gun, Benny the Butcher, Conway the Machine show at the Novo in downtown LA. It was March 3rd, right? And I was part of this event. It was March 3rd, 2019. And I was throwing the event. I was literally thinking like, yo, this show's getting canceled. All the fans are going to get fucked, you know? And that's where I was, man. I just missed the normality of it, you know? But me being a medic, man, you got to do what you got to do at the end of the day, man, you got to do what you got to do to stay alive at this point, you know? And
hey, man, I'll say this, man. If I happen to be out and about in a public place, man, you being a medic, you probably be one of the guys I want to be around me, man. If anything jumps off.
Yeah, don't count on me on CPR, man. I'm a hip hop head, man.
Yeah, I wouldn't ask you to do that.
Yo, right now with the corona, man, it's like I can't do CPR. Nobody can do that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna take my mask off.
Yeah, so. I want to apologize to you guys. My little long-winded rant of Lollapalooza, seeing the Far Side or whatever, that was like one of the biggest memories that I have, whatever. But I would also have to say that rant was fueled by Batos Gardens, fine cannabis.
Look at the ad.
Concentrate, and along with the combination of the AI's mescal. Here's a. Yeah, this one right here is a Jabali. You know what I'm saying? So we pretty.
Where are they selling that at, man? Where are they selling that right now?
I'll holler at you, man. We'll get you. We'll get you set. But yeah, man, I was really high powered. You know what I'm saying earlier. So I've kind of like come down to third gear. But with that being said, where do you see social interaction going in the next 5 years?
Since I see coming out of the pandemic, I see stuff getting back to normal again. You know, the hunger is there, the need is there, the demand is there,
the frustration
is there, you know, and the inflation is there, you know, everything's so expensive now, you know. But I kind of think everything's going to get back to normal in a couple years. When it comes down to social media, I kind of feel like Instagram, and I just kind of feel like the .coms always dominate. But when it comes down to social media, and Facebook is dead. Facebook is going to end up being another MySpace. Instagram is going to be dominant. You know, and then we're going to have some sort of new social network where, you know, I don't know, rappers might be uploading their videos on OnlyFans now. I don't know, man.
My prediction, my prediction, and I'll call it. I say, homeboy that Nipsey was dealing with before he passed, this African cat. that helped him do the virtual store experience with the Marathon store when it first kind of jumped off. And I want to say he wrote the Uber program, or he had something to do with Uber and all this kind of stuff. But I know Jay-Z's messing with this dude right now. And I think that between Homeboy and Jay-Z, it may be something that gets consumed by the larger platforms or whatever. But I think that Jay-Z and this cat, this African cat that Nipsey was messing with, I think they're about to do something that's going to change things up in the next 12 months.
I see more. Months, wow. And I see more exclusivity too. So I see a lot of these platforms uploading a lot more exclusive stuff. I think the era where rappers are uploading their music on their own platforms, their own Spotify's, their own YouTubes. I see the transition where, you know, people are looking at platforms like mine and they're like, yo, I want to be on that YouTube channel. You know, I've done so much on mine. I just want to taste what they got going on. So I see a trend of YouTubers becoming as big as big corporate platforms at this point. And that's what I like about it. And that's what I like about my company is that, you know, I might not be the biggest company in the world. You know, Underground Hip Hop Blog might not be the biggest hip hop site in the world, but I'm confident that we got something cooking to a point where we will be here in 5 years. We will be here in 10 years because a lot of these blogs are dwindling down, you know, and I do hear a lot of people say, oh, you know, a lot of people don't need blogs, don't need, you know, magazines, or don't need no. There's a place for everything. There's a lane for everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And there's gonna be less podcasters in 5 years, but the ones that stay consistent, they're gonna be thriving in 5 years. So that's what I feel like I'm gonna be at in 5 years, man. Best believe I'm hoping we're just a platform. We're like more of a we have a lot more exclusivity. Because of demand, because people are just, you know, they see what we got going. They see the hard work we put in. We're not scam artists. We're not solicitors. You know, what's up with all these, you know, accounts trying to solicit for promo? I don't know. You put some sort of hashtag and the next thing you know, you get a
DM me if you want to get high.
Like, yo, like imagine if Underground Hip Hop Blog was doing that, man. Come on. You know, it's like we don't even waste our time doing that. You know, or
if you were doing it, people will be taking screenshots and posting clowns, man.
Yeah, like yo, and the thing is, they're all like bot accounts and stuff like that. So, and like I said, all that stuff is gonna fade away, and the real ones are gonna stay. You know, and it's not like I hope. I kind of know we're gonna stick around. We're in there for the long haul, but my platform is for y'all. My platform is a bigger scope than me and my team, my brother, and my publishers. You know. We take it one day at a time, and sometimes we don't realize the underground scene, they know about us. There's not one underground rapper in the scene who does not know about Underground Hip Hop Blog. So we already checked that off the list. What more do we need to do? We're doing mic sessions. There's MCs who come to our office and they spit rhymes in front of our logo. We check that off. And I don't get all the views in the world, but I'm still consistent with it. You know, while most people focus on views and the lack of visibility they have, they end up quitting. The hobbyists, they're going to end up quitting. But like I said, the trajectory that we're headed, and as you know, with these new rappers, come on, Jeremy, like there's 1,000 rappers born every day, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
At this point,
yeah.
You know, man, we got a bunch of.
I'm always trying to learn some new name or something crazy. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you know, so you know, so all these little trap rappers, I'm open to them because you know, at this point, if they're not on the radio, they're underground. You know, and if they're humble enough to email me or find my website on Google or on Instagram and DM me, I can't really hate on them. But obviously, if it's auto-tune, I just trash it. Then, you know, or you know what? Sometimes like we get submissions from R&B artists, and it's, you know, it gets kind of confusing, you know. But they look at us as some sort of value to them, You know,
you never should have said that to me, man. I'm about to send you some. It ain't gonna be tomorrow, but before Friday, I'm about to send you a couple choice little things that I think might have flown underneath your radar, man. And I think you, but you know what? Not even for your blog, but just something I think you could appreciate. You know what I'm saying? Like some stuff. So tell me this: do you have anything that you want to promote that's coming up?
Oh, I would love to promote some upcoming events.
Sure.
For all the people that are still tuned in, man, or are going to tune in after the fact. Well, we got Cool Keith coming up. We got Rhyme Fest coming up. We're part of Rhyme Fest. Headlining Brother Ali, Mortal Technique, Black Sheep. You know, they're coming out the cut, going to perform at the great show in LA. What else? We got Conejo, one of the biggest, one of the forefathers of Chicano rap, you know. And he's coming off the movie Tax Collector, which I strongly recommend everybody sees. We're co-headlining Cram Apple with that. So Cool Keith is on October 29th. Ryan Fest is in November. We got Conejo this December 11th. We got Jay Worthy. He just signed with Griselda. Shout out to my homie Doe Network. And one of my publishers, Matt, they got me connected with Jay Worthy. He's like one of the most trending West Coast artists right now. If you're not listening to Jay Worthy, look him up. Okay. And then Rome Streets. We got Rome Streets December 4th. He's another, you know, artist who built his own platform, built his own brand to a point where he just signed with Griselda also. He's coming December 4th. We just locked in that show. And then to put the cherry on the pie, you know, to bring it back to like some real stuff, you know, we got the Killer Army tour. So Killer Army, they're doing January, when's the date? We got Killer Army coming to LA on January 8th. So that's Ninth Prince, that's Don Pacino. You know, remember I told you I love Wu-Tang, but back in the days, while everybody else was listening to Wu-Tang and all the stuff on the radio, I was listening to Killer Army. Okay. And, you know, and then when I found out that they were on tour again, we picked them up. And like I said, I'm a fan first promoter. So I'm not just a promoter. We're a platform throwing these shows. So, you know, I love the fact that when I throw a show, if I can help these guys that I book gain more fans through my platform, it's a win-win for all of us, you know, and that's a blessing in disguise, man. I'm just blessed and kind of spoiled that I have this platform and I'm able to promote these shows so easily. But it's all the hard work we put in, all the hard work, you know, my brother puts in, all my publishers put in, people who help us out with these shows, even the venue. Shout out to the Catch One. They're very hospitable with me. That's like my residency venue. We throw most of our shows at the Catch One in the room called The Underground. So everything's lining up. Everything's lining up to a point where it's not about me no more. It's not about my team. It's doing something dope for LA. To when I was a teenager, you know, ditching school to go to these in-stores, going to these shows, you know, that's where I want to bring it back, you know. And like I do these mic sessions because I want to take people back to the AOL session days. I don't know if you remember the AOL sessions, but that's the type of vibe my mic sessions are doing right now, you know. But yeah, I got some great shows coming up. You could just Google, like literally.
Okay,
yeah. For the event, you could just look up undergroundhiphopblog.com/events. And then everything is at UGHH blog. And that's on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, my website, you know, everything. And yeah, I just want to give, you know, props to, you know, my whole team. My brother, his name is Hip Hop Blogger. He's like my right-hand man. And my publisher, Ian, his name is Legends. My publisher, Matt, his name is Matt Ocon. He rolls with Lord Mob right now. They're killing the scene right now. And then my PR rep, Drea, and my host, C3. He be hosting all of my events. So like I got a team. And if it wasn't for my team, it's impossible for me to do this all by myself. But for me to get the recognition, I kind of don't like that because I love the recognition on the album reviews. You know, that's something personal that, you know, I put my heart and soul into these reviews. But when it comes down to the platform, yeah, I got to give props to my team. And And for underground hip hop blog to work with PharcydeTV, that's just like a hand in glove fit. I couldn't say no. And when I heard about the opportunity, it's like, man, come on, man, y'all are LA legends, and we're based out of LA. So you know, for even Booty Brown to even know that, to know about my platform is an honor. You know, for Imani, for Fat Lip, for anybody who's affiliated with y'all, for you, Greg, for you, Jeremy, like it's pretty dope to y'all to be open enough to invite me, and I feel like I'm doing something good. Like, to me, doing this, I'm winning. You know, doing this, I'm winning, and my platform is winning. So, and I wouldn't want to do a podcast with anybody else at this point. You know, we say no more than we say yes to a lot of stuff at this point. You know, and but you know, I'm just humbled that PharcydeTV, we're like right here repping. I'm repping for the brand.
Nah, that's tight. Well, you know, one thing is we like to kind of paint a picture of who the person is behind the thing. You know what I'm saying? Like the thing is kind of like where you are right now, but I always like to talk to people about kind of like their humble beginnings and what brought them to where where they are right now. So that's real dope. With you, Jeremy, you have any shows coming up? Anything you want to shout out?
Friday night, I'm at the Comedy Store. I think that's the best thing to promote right now. Yep. Friday night, Comedy Store. That's
do you know who else is performing there? You know who else is who are
it's like 60 comics performing that night, so I could lie, but yeah, I'll say go on my Instagram. I will post the entire list of comics on the show, on the 3 shows going on at the Comedy Store.
Are you performing in the small room or the big room at the Comedy Store?
There's 3 rooms.
There's 3 rooms.
I'm performing in 2 of the 3 rooms.
Oh, okay.
2 of the 3, yeah.
Yeah, I was telling you, man. Last time I went to the Comedy Store, I went to go see Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, Joe Rogan ends his show. Everybody's walking out, and then out of nowhere, Martin just comes up and says, "Hey, where's everybody going?" I'm rehearsing for my tour, and everybody starts walking back in. It was the most hilarious thing I've ever saw. Yeah, because he was like literally doing stand up in front of like 30 people.
Yeah,
you know, and he didn't really care. But then he told me like that was his home. And, and another person I saw there was Andy Dick. I don't know. That guy's a weirdo.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, that guy's a weirdo, super weirdo, but he was hilarious. Maybe because he's just a weirdo. I don't know.
Yeah. I'll say, I've been doing comedy for a while. I've been at the Comedy Store since I started comedy, and that's not a strange night at all. Like, that's very common. It's just so many people there, so many different types of people, so many different types of celebrities. Like, any given night, you're gonna run into. I mean, I remember meeting Dave Chappelle there and Martin. Literally the same night. There's just so many people. I met Eddie Murphy. I mean, it's the place for that to happen. So yeah.
Yeah, it was my first and keep in mind, it was my first experience at the Comedy Store. So my first time going there, I see Pauly Shore, Joe Rogan, and Martin all in one bill.
Yeah, that's why you ask like who's gonna be there. I'm like, be there.
Actually, people just pop up, right? Because literally Martin said, "Yo, I was just driving by, I pulled over, and I'm in here." And like, so people just pop up like that. Right?
It's a yes and no. It's a very complicated statement you just said. Just know that there's a lot of. I mean, it's just very loaded. But Kevin Hart has been doing sets there lately too. So.
Oh wow! Yeah, I like that. I like that where nobody really knows. It's a mystery, and that's the vibe I get from the Comedy Store. So yeah, I love that spot, man.
Yeah, but more important than all those people performing there is me performing there.
No, for sure.
The horse you should bet on, and. Fuck them, bro. I'm
gonna pull up. I'm gonna pull up.
This is the guy that needs you there.
Yeah. Now
niggas that you can pop in and you can just go on Netflix and click on their face. Don't worry about them. Come watch me. You can't click on me. I'm right here.
No, for sure, man. I'm definitely gonna pull up on you, Jeremy. I'm definitely gonna pull up. I'm promising you. So
I appreciate you.
It's gonna be a date night for me and the wifey, man. We're gonna be pulling up on you.
No, dude. Well, no, dude, Victor, man, I really want to, extend my thanks to you, man. I appreciate the history lesson, the story, the whole journey of where you are right now. Once again, I want to thank your crew, your team, all the people behind Underground Hip Hop Blog. And then once again, I want to thank my co-host, Jeremy Scipio, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And also, I like to thank him for you put me on to so many people, man. I'm going to check out at least half of them. I'm not going to lie. Like seriously tonight.
Oh, dope. Yeah,
you put me on a lot of rappers.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, check them out, and it's good music. It's good music. Mm-hmm. So it's not none of that whack shit you be cracking jokes to, man. Yeah, believe me, man. Honestly, I think right now comedians, man, when it comes down to content, man, y'all, man, there's so much content y'all can make fun of. It's ridiculous. And like I want to see you. I want to see what you got, what you're gonna talk about with this whole pandemic, man. I want to see what you got.
I got stuff for you. Yeah. I got stuff for you.
Nah, dope.
Yeah.
Well, no, man. Thank you, everybody. This has been another episode of Splendid.